In fact, I remember calling my friend's husband and I was like, why? What happened? Did you people go to any other hospital before going to this hospital? Did anything happen to her before that? I was just finding a way I can just get closure. Because at that point, I didn't want to accept this was happening to my own friend, that we ate on inside the same plate. I was asking too many questions. At that point, I was just trying to find closure from anything at all. So it can happen to anybody. I've walked that path, so I know what it feels like.
Yeah, we're back to understanding grief, and I had to cut the first one up because I cried in this video. So spoiler alert, I'm telling you that I cried, so that you get ready when you get to that stage. And I'm going to be talking about acceptance of grief, which is one thing I struggled with, and it never gets easy dealing with acceptance, because you're going to be wondering, so this person will no longer be here, I will no longer chat with this person, I will no longer speak with this person. You're going to live with that. It's a journey, and that's what I want you to understand. So as you go through this video, pick all the important points of how I myself dealt with acceptance. Maybe that would help you, and I'm sure it should help you. How I dealt with acceptance myself. There were days of struggles. There were days I felt like crying over and over again. But then I went through it. And I trust that you also can go through it. So if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. If you're just coming across this new channel, please subscribe. Let's go straight into what we have for the day. Acceptance.
So acceptance is not about being okay with it, because you're never going to be okay about your loved one. I have a friend that died of cancer since last year, over a year now. But yesterday, I just thought about her and I was overwhelmed. In fact, someone was talking to me about her and the person noticed that I was about to cry. And he was like, I don't want to make you cry. Even me, sorry. So it's like that. You never really get over it. You never really get over grief. That's what grief does. So, and another thing is this, at the stage of acceptance, it's just like you're trying to build that, okay, it's okay that this has happened. It means you're just beginning to acknowledge the reality. Over time, I have to acknowledge the reality over and over again about the death of this my particular friend. So over and over again, I tell myself, oh, she's gone. She will never be here again. I tell myself that. I go over it again. I'm sorry that happened. So at the stage of acceptance, that happens. So it's just like, it means you are beginning to acknowledge that this person may never be here again. You are beginning to acknowledge the reality, and you are starting to find new ways to live with it. Someone might say, I will always miss them, but I can carry their memory forward. And that's where people will begin to write things about the person. In fact, I had to write about my friend, and on my other YouTube channel, I wrote about her and I left it there. Why did I do it? Because I just wanted it to be there, because even if for years to come, it will be there. It's just a way to remember that this person was once a very good friend to me, and this thing took her away. I watched her go through that struggle. I watched her kids struggle with it. I watched that family go through that pain. So most times when I remember it, I will just feel like, God, why did you answer this prayer? But I'm not God. And that's who he is. He decides to do what he wants to do. But this is me telling you that every one of us at one point or the other might have gone through a stage of grief. And that stage, it's not like you're going to start with bargaining. It can come anyhow. I remember there are sometimes I will just stand in the middle of my kitchen and I will start weeping. When I learned she died, I was just start weeping. I remember hearing it over the phone and I stood in the middle of the road. I started weeping. This can happen to anybody. I'm just telling you so that you will know that nobody is masked. I am not masked from it. I'm being real to you because I'm talking about this now because I know a lot of people are going through this. And why did I decide to do this? I started conducting a research, and that research had to do with older adults. And I found out that most of them were dealing with grief and nobody was saying anything about it. And how it pained me most out of all of them I spoke to, 95% approximately complained about dealing with grief. And I said, this is an area we really need to delve into. Even though I know that it's something that could be overwhelming, but I want you to know that you are not alone. And on this grief journey, you're going to overcome. One day you might feel hopeful, the next overwhelmed with sadness. There is no timeline. There is only your timeline. So today I may be happy to talk about my friend, talk about the good things about her. I saw myself discussing about her yesterday, happily about how wonderful she was and everything, why she was here. In fact, I find it difficult sometimes to use words because most times I will just shout, wow, so she is no more here. So it happens, and that's normal. You may find yourself in that stage, or you may find yourself in that period. It is something that you need to tell yourself it is normal and you're going to get over it. And I want you to, like, after listening to what I have said or what I've narrated now, I want you to tell yourself, this is the stage I am at dealing with. Or if you're not dealing with grief, or you're dealing with any other form of loss, and it makes you go up and down, angry, even loss of job, it can happen to anyone, and you're dealing with it. You're finding yourself in that. Some people, when their relationships end, they are not able to handle it. You can also go through these phases of grief. But one thing is this: you need to understand that you are more than the grief. And when you understand that you are more than the grief, you can actually begin to overcome and live with it, because you always remember people that made our life interesting. We will always remember them. People that made our life wonderful, we will always remember them. We can't afford not to remember them. So that's one thing I want you to understand today, that you will always remember. Don't think that you will not. It's never going to be the same, but you can walk through it and be happy walking through it. I just hope this helps someone today, and if it does, share this, invite your friends. We're going to make this a very, very grief friendly channel. Thank you for watching me cry today. Have a nice day.